Well, go on and praise him in here. Go on and praise him. When you look back over your life and think about everything you've experienced, it was nothing but the favor of the Lord. I said it was nothing but the favor of the Lord. If you know that it was the favor of the Lord, go on and praise him in here.
Hey, blessings, people of God. Good God afternoon. We are in the month of January for the year of 2026, and I am super excited. I have a powerful show prepared for you guys. I first want to thank God for allowing me to see another year. You know, it's such a blessing that God allowed me to see, because so many people didn't make it. And I thank God that we are at the year 2026. Many people didn't make it. Many people didn't see this day, but I'm thankful. I bought the new year in working. It's a great omen because I bought it in working. Holiday pay. I got promoted last year. I finished the year strong, and I finished the year clear on where God is taking me, and I'm thankful. And I want to talk to you about various points about New Year's, because we have New Year's mixed up. What it means, it's not, and the New Year's resolutions. We say resolutions when it really is resolutions, and we're gonna get into that. As always, we know what the problems are. We know what we need to do to solve them. What I offer on this platform is solutions, dedicated acts of action that bring about true change, not just talked about change, and no excuses. For excuses are man's tools of incompetence that build bridges nowhere, monuments of nothing. Broadcasting live from the WVTC radio network here in Chicago, radio and television network, and also our sister station in Detroit, Michigan. We are beyond excited about what God is doing in this season. We have moved into a huge location, and God is doing such amazing things for this radio station, for the various people in the radio stations, and for everyone, lives. I mean, God is good. I want to also thank God for my multimedia person. She is such an amazing woman, Miss Davina Mitchell. She designed this setup. She designs all my commercials. She is the best, and we're going to get into that. My son is with me. Shout out to my other two sons. I see them soon, but my baby boy is with me. I haven't seen him in a little while because I have been working, so much at work, being promoted, and I thank God for that. I'm just very, very excited. I'm sharing the broadcast because I don't want nobody to miss this show today. They can't afford to miss this show, and I'm going to really get into some points. I want to thank God that my mom, she's seen another year. She's such a strong, amazing woman. And if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be here. My mom is the greatest mom in the world. And I thank God for her. One of the greatest things about life is watching your parents get old. You used to seeing them being so strong. And my mom is a very strong woman. And, to watch her, even now, it's such a blessing. So I just want to share this with a few more people, and I am going to get started. And you want to like, love, and share. You want everybody to hear this show because they are going to love this show. Trust me when I tell you it's going to be a powerful show. And we're going to get into it. Let me just get my notes up. This is so good. I had to get the notes. First thing I want to talk about is we have to build solid habits and understanding what the word resolution means, which really means re-solution. And I want to definitely talk about that today, because many people don't know what when they think about resolutions. I want to start a new resolution. I want to make sure I do something different. Okay, yes, you want to do something different. That is so true. But who are you uninterrupted? Who are you when you're not bothered by people? You're not bothered by situations. Who are you when you're really thinking about life and you're clear in life. You're clear on who you are. Who are you? Well, let's first talk about building the right habits, because what kills us is habituality. And we get into these same molds even though the new year started. We think that life is going to change. All right, almost done. I'm sorry, I got so much to share to people because I want so many people to watch this. All right. Now, when we think about resolution, people have just combined the word resolution. It's really resolution, a solution, accommodation, or selling a problem. Now, you have to ask yourself, what is my problem? Because many people think, and the new year is an exciting time. Don't get me wrong. It is a very exciting time when you go into your new year, because your new year, you want to go with new resolves. You want to go with new methods, new ways, new habits. You want to make sure that you are doing something different. So when we think about resolution, we have to think about resolutions in the manner of what is it that is a problem in our lives that holds us back and that keeps repeating the same old circle every year. What is it? Why do we keep doing what we've been doing for so many years? What is it about our lives that we have to keep doing what we keep doing? So here it is. This is what we have to look at when we think about resolution. There are areas in your life that you keep having problems in that keeps you in a certain place. There are things that you look at in your life, that you have to say to yourself, I have to end doing this. I have to end being this person. I have to end these financial situations. I have to end these bad relationships. I have to end all these things. I have to end all these things. And now that I've ended this thing is asking me for my face resolution. This is crazy. Okay. Boom. They got me. All right. I'm sorry. I'm on a whole new different network. And it's just like, don't worry about it. So, okay, I'm good. I'm sorry about that. And let me get deep. I'm sorry. I was just trying to share with everybody. It's like, oh, my stuff. So when we think about solution, accommodation, a selling of a problem, resolutions are declarations of firmly decision to do or not do something. That's what we have to understand, because some great resolutions, or they call resolutions, are getting in your mind, I am not going to do something. One of the greatest things about 2025 that taught me was to remove stuff. My therapist asked me the biggest question that was on my last show that I really iterated at. Who are you uninterrupted? Because the devil can't stop you, so he tries to distract you, and experiences they push your thinking into a certain manner, because there are a lot of good people who've been through a lot of bad things in life, and that's the reason why they have the certain kind of flow, or they look at things the way they do, or even their diction, where some people may turn negative. So when we look at that, they want to permanently change, but too many people give themselves an end date, not understanding that change is something that continuously happens constantly. Change is something that you cannot put a date on, because the day you die, you're still changing from living to living a life in heaven or hell, wherever your life puts you by the way you live. So when we think about that, it is hard for us to stick to change if we won't hold ourselves, our lives, and the people around us accountable. Your life is built to grow. That's what you're put on this earth, to do God's will and grow. And sometimes emotional stagnation makes us stay in a place of recycling lessons. And every time we recycle a lesson we should have learned, we're going to end up keeping ourselves in this circumstance. Now, I want you to understand the word circumstance. That means you are going in a circle, constantly moving, but standing still. And when we look at the goals, we got to look at our ambitions and our effort. And they don't have a timeline on that. What it is when we look at our lives next week, and I'm going to talk about some of the resolutions that I have, because there were areas in my life that I've always excelled in, but I've always allowed certain situations in my life to derail me from the greatness that God has for me. And in the middle of this year, a little bit past June or so, I was going through some things, and I ended up going back to therapy, which was one of the greatest decisions I ever made, because this time I wasn't going because I was in a place of that I'm just depleted. I was going into a place where I understand now. And it was my mission to remove the things that keep me stagnated. So when I look at something, I had to understand that in my life, according to my therapist, and we got to talking, every mistake that I have made has been tied to somebody. I don't make mistakes on my own accord or create problems for myself. I'm always trying to solve somebody else's problem. And I'm always trying to do more than what I could do, because a lot of times I am doing for people with stuff I need for myself. So he asked me the question, who am I uninterrupted? Then he asked me to pick a motto for 2026 and stick by it. And what is my motto for 2026? I can't help anyone anymore until I'm done with helping myself first. That's my motto. I can't help nobody until I'm done helping myself. Meaning I cannot deplete who I am, what I have, and what God has called me to do to help somebody who got themselves in a life situation that I had nothing to do with. I am not going to feel guilty for being disciplined. We're going to talk today because I want you to understand that you can be fighting for your life. Watch this. And people will only notice that you're not showing up for them. You're battling your life. You're trying to, come on, man. I'm going to a whole nother level this year. You all about my next show next week is going to be about love bombing. And I'm going to talk about love bombing because we have gotten so hurt or so insecure in our lives that people can't even give us compliments anymore. That they got to be love bombing us because they like us and give us compliments. That this term love bombing, it drives me crazy because I think you a nice woman. I think you look good. I think you successful. I'm love bombing you to try to get something from you. When in life right now, it's such a shortage of good men, it ain't hard getting nobody. Right now, it's crazy. So this love bombing, I'm going to talk about that. That just, like we got to love bomb somebody because we show somebody courtesy and pour into them and lift them up. I had a lady tell me a while back, I was dating her, that, you sound like you love bombing me. Why? Because I think you're a beautiful, amazing woman of God, a great person, that you survived a lot. I got to be love bombing you. Why? To try to get busy with you and I'm not? Like, please, that don't excite me. I'm asking God for a wife, not a night. Come on. Somebody better get that. Love bombing. I'm going all into that. Man, that kills me. That we can't compliment one another without feeling inferior, that we're so insecure and got so many insecurities in our life, or we ain't dealt with the pain in our lives that everybody got to be as us. Come on. So my motto is I can't help anybody anymore until I'm done with helping myself first. I'll give people the overflow off the cup that I need to drink from first. I cannot help nobody until I help myself first. That is one of the things that I've allowed people in the previous years to make me feel guilty for their lack and their mistakes that I had nothing to do with. So I put myself out in a bad place and then turn around when I need them, they're gone. And they don't care about losing you because they've got everything they want from you. I won't do that because my therapist had me to see something that's so clear that many people don't see. Nothing from nothing leaves nothing. If you lose somebody who pour nothing in you, or you lose somebody who gives you nothing, you have lost nothing. That's why I'm going to match people's energy towards me, towards what they want to do or how they want to be. Because what I don't need is anybody sitting at the table eating and won't even bring utensils for everybody else to eat too. No, thank you. Because I lost nothing if you give nothing. I was so afraid of losing people that I wanted to eat with people just even though they're eating all the food and leaving. They ain't cleaning no dishes. They ain't doing nothing. They're walking away with a full belly. And they ain't got to treat you. Get this, people. People of God, if you don't restrict your access, people going to treat you any kind of way. If they can get from you whatever they want to get from you without even having nothing to do with you, they will do that and they're going to restrict their access. I get that. But it gives you your greatest separation. If you want to get away from somebody that does absolutely nothing for you and is always taken from you, it's easy. Because the minute they say, hey, what are you doing? I say, hey, well, don't worry. Even though our connection has been severed, you've won. You've gotten more from me than I've gotten from you. You've never gave me nothing, but you've left with a whole lot. So you gave me my exit. You know, that's the thing. My therapist said you can get rid of people easily, especially if they're always taking from you and they bring absolutely nothing to you or show anything in it. You win. Because you can turn around and say, hey, okay, look, you got it already. You done already got more than what you should got. You ain't bought nothing. So now you can leave. But I had to learn that. That goes for family members. That goes for friendship. That goes for love. That goes for everything. I'm not putting myself out for nobody because I know nobody ain't gonna put themselves out for me. I'm gonna help you by helping myself be able to help you better. So I have no problem with somebody not being in a great financial situation because we all make mistakes. But I have to get myself in a situation where now I can have what I desire to have and what God has for me to have without going broke or being in a bad situation trying to help you. That's my motto. I can't help anybody no more. I work with anybody. But if I'm working with you and I don't see no results, eventually I got to stop working with you because you're nothing but a bill. Especially if I'm not growing. See, this year, my emotions is out of it. My emotions used to be in everything about attitude. Man, through therapy, my emotions out of it. It's not, because I've watched people stab me in the back and I've done nothing but bless them. There's a situation I'm dealing with now I won't even talk about. At my job, person I helped stab me in the back and other people in the back. You know, it's like, wow. But people don't care. But guess what? That's a reflection of your life. The Bible says when you take from a man, you owe him 7 times that back. So what happens? God takes 7 times away from you. I feel bad for anybody that got over on me or thought they was getting on me because all you did was curse your life because God is going to bless those that bless me, but he's going to curse those that curse me. That's why I didn't want people to do bad for me. I'd rather for you to just leave me alone because you think you're going to get me and God has already got me and I'm already here, so you already lost and you're going to lose more. Some people got that Egyptian mind frame of Pharaoh that I see God part the Red Sea for these people. I see these people walk on dry land in the middle of all this water, but I'm going to still pursue them thinking I could get to. That would have stopped me when I seen God open the sea for them. But I'm going to still chase them? He was crazy. And what happened? They still finding cherries at the bottom of the ocean now. We can't be quiet no more, people, God. It's like the lady with the issue of blood. What blew me away about the lady with the issue of blood, I want you to watch this. Everybody had their hand on Jesus, but she touched him. She didn't even touch Jesus, physically touch him. She only touched a garment connected to him, and she was automatically healed. The faith that she had took the virtue out of his mind, out of his body, and watch this. He stopped. He turned around and said, somebody touch me. She had got healed and decided to go back in the shell. God did not heal you for you to be quiet in 2026. God did not bring you through a year like 2025 for you to be quiet in 2026. God did not bless you, bless your family, and bless you and do all the things for you to go. He says, somebody touch me. Jesus called her out. Just like he called some of y'all out. You didn't go through all that in life just to get healed for you to go back quiet. She said, no. She said she had to speak up. He knew it was her. She had to speak up. Huh? It was me. And she got made whole. And that was one of the biggest problems in my life, not just last year, but year before, because I thought sacrifice equal to love, but it don't. If God blesses me with something and I keep giving it away, and then it made me look over my finances, it made me look, God always gave me an abundance, but I've always had people around me to take that abundance to keep me at a minimum. The minute God gave me something, the devil sent blessing takers. Not just blessing, they can't block my blessings because you can't block a curse with God bless, but blessing takers. Somebody that always need every single time. And most of them people that need made me their enemy so they never have to pay me back. They have made me their enemy so they don't have to pay me back. Wow. That's deep. But God bless them. There's no grudges taken into this year, and I dealt with that. But I understood what model I needed to have. You are important just like your kids, just like your spouse, just like everyone else in your church. You are just as important, and you need you too. And you giving everything you got to you got nothing is not godly. You don't make it your God, but it's not godly to have. And you cannot bless people. This is why our churches are suffering, because you have too many leaders who are empty, study, trying to pour. My motto, I can't help anyone until I help myself first. And I don't care who don't approve of that, because ain't nobody help me carry a brick. That was one thing that my therapist showed me. You're asking for approval from people who have never pulled anything into you. You used to ask for approval about your radio show, but nobody's ever pulled $1 into your show. But you're worried about what they think. Who cares? You don't have to listen to anybody that don't have ability, courtesy, or love enough to pour something into you. You don't have to listen to them. Their opinion is nothing. How can you give me an opinion on how I'm going to sail my boat, build my boat, and you help me build nothing? Do you know in Noah's day, I don't know if y'all read the scripture, in Noah's day, the giants tried to build a boat to replica the boat that Noah was building, because one of those giants had a vision that they would be destroyed in the water. And even though giants built a bigger boat than the ark, and more, it looked like it was more powerful, it was missing God and God bless it. It was missing what the dynamics and the parameters that God gave Noah. It was missing that, and it was destroyed when the flood came. 2026, you don't have to take any advice from anybody that want to invest in you, because their advice means nothing if they're not going to pour anything into you, period. You ain't got to listen to it, because some people just want to be they have a voice in something. They want you to do all the work and come in when it's almost done and have the same voice. If you want to build with me, fine. But if you going to watch me do all the work and benefit from it, you stay over there. And because compromise is about working together, not one person doing all the work. I don't have to listen if I'm doing all the work. If I'm carrying all the bricks, I'm doing all the building, I don't have to listen. You know, because I've learned this the hard way, that there were some times that I was fighting for my life, and the person that I thought should love me didn't. The church that I thought would help me wouldn't. The people that I thought was men and women of God that would go in, and I realized, you know what, as long as I did what benefited them, and it made me understand that all they did was talk about me not showing up for them when they have never showed up for me. Churches people that love you, shake your hand. Oh, you such a wonderful this and that. But if you ain't there, you ain't around, they ain't calling you. They don't care. It become the business. So I realized that. I'm fighting for my life, but they're worried about me not showing up for them. There are times I've told people I'm doing something, but they don't care about what I'm doing. They care about what I'm doing for them. Come on. So my motto is, I can't help anybody anymore until I help myself first. And what I help you with is outside of what I've already did for myself first. And you got to look at that. It's not that you're being selfish, but if you don't take care of you, you can't expect people to take care of you. The Bible says peace is taken by force. Watch this. You have to prepare in private. Let's understand, the Bible said, Jesus told the disciples to go and make disciples. What is the root word of disciple? It is discipline. I don't care what God gives you. If you don't have discipline to do what needs to be done to maintain it, grow it, you will not be successful. Discipline. If you are failing in private, you're going to definitely fail in public. Most people's fall is in private because they have not conquered their lust. Because one of the things I realized that when I conquered my lust, I knew I wasn't gonna fall again. Because what has always destroyed me in my past is relationships. Because I'm not so interested in the point where how you look good, you know, so be it. What it is outside of what I am to you, who am I to you? Boom. That's what Dr. Thomas used to always say, ask people. Besides of what I am to you, I know to you, I'm somebody that love you, somebody that help you, somebody to grow. But who am I to you? I know what I am to you, but who am I to you? Because sometimes people don't care about you unless you are a benefit to them. They don't care. So if you're failing in private, you are failing in public. So you must prepare faithfully and constantly in private so you can be unstoppable in public. One of the things that people know about me when it comes to the word of God, I am a Bible scholar. I get up morning at 3, God wakes me up 3:30, almost 4 every morning, and I'm up studying the Bible, sometimes earlier. He always wakes me up on the 4th watch prayer. If you look it up, it's 8 watches of prayer. I'm always waking up on the 4th watch of prayer. That is the watch that heaven is open. It's the most spiritual work is done in that watch. That is the watch that most people believe that Jacob wrestled with God during that time. That's the most scholars, most theologians believe that that's the time that Jesus rose from the dead. At that time, during the 4th watch, that is when you open on the open heaven. That's when you should be praying. That's when you should be decreeing over your life during that 4th watch of prayer. That is when everything is open. That's when you're under open heaven. So I'm waking up every morning. And what am I doing? I'm getting the word. I'm learning the word of God. That's why when people ask me, I always got a word because I take it seriously because you're supposed to study. So when you look at that, you got to be prepared. I'm always mapping it out. People don't look at it that way. You got to be prepared in public. You have to, you have to get this. You have to really, really, really get this. I want you to understand something that blew me away. When God delivered me from lust, I knew I wasn't going to fail again, but then I had to understand a part of jealousy that most people don't understand. When we look at jealousy, most people think that a person is jealous because you look good, that you have a lot of money or you just got a lot of things going on. You know why people are really jealous? There's a quiet element of jealousy that you don't understand. Most people think you're big-headed because you say you're a pastor. I am a pastor. God made me a pastor. And there is something that I didn't understand about that because you don't have to be over a church to be a pastor. Look up the word of God. I was ordained as a pastor. I was a pastor over a church for years. And here's the thing about that aspect of jealousy that we had to bring up in one of our therapy sessions. Do you know the biggest part of jealousy that most people don't deal with, don't mention, or even look at? It's the element of impact. Most people, especially leaders, I have to have my own church. I have to be a pastor. Not because I feel that I want to be or feel no, I have to, because wherever I go, I'm going to make an impact. I don't care what radio station I go, I'm going to make an impact. I don't care what relationship I'm in, I'm going to make an impact. I don't care where I preach, where I teach at, I'm going to make an impact. Wherever I go, because you can't tell me that I go to your church, I can't even mop your floors. You tell me I can't even scrub your toilet. You tell me I have to sit down in your church until you think I'm ready. Or you think you're going to give me a chance. That all the work that needs to be done, kingdom work that needs to be done, I'm probably even teaching Sunday school. But you tell me there is nowhere for me to work in your church? No. It has nothing to do with me. It has everything to do with your impact. Understand the part of jealousy that many people don't want to admit is that they are afraid and supremely jealous of your impact. You know why? Because I do things easily that people chase. Some people work hard, and I'm going to tell you why. Because there are many people who are made by their position, and they have a lot of undiagnosed insecurities and a lot of undiagnosed anxiety. And they don't want to admit that, and they can hide comfortably behind an esteemed position. So when somebody that's impactful come through, I am going to shut him down. If this person is not controlled or in a manner that is not threatening me, I'm going to sit him down. I don't want to hear it. You ain't going nowhere. You ain't doing nothing. And the thing about that is God did not heal me, like the lady with the issue of blood, just so I can be quiet and float back into a place of by myself. No, he didn't do that. But I had to learn that. I'm like, I asked my dad, why am I always going problems? He said, because you impactful. Because they don't want to admit that when God is using you, he bears witness to that and is impactful to people. And they see that. That's why you got to have your own. Because I'm going to tell you something. You are never going to be at home in somebody else's home. Simple. You in somebody else's home, you're going to always have to deal with their rules. That's why it says God bless the child that got what? His own. You're going to always deal with somebody's rules, insecurities, and anxieties if you live with them. So it is not that I'm like, oh, I'm catering or lobbying for, but no. But I understand I have to do my own ministry. That everywhere I go, because of the favor and anointing on my life, it's going to be impactful. And that's the part of jealousy that I didn't understand. I'm like, why? I didn't understand that. And Dr. Thomas said something to me. He said, you're going to always be somebody's enemy because of your impact, especially when they control a place by the prestigious of their position and title. No title makes me. I make the title because of who God created me. There is nothing you have that makes you. You can have a fancy car. You can find a fancy house. You can have $1 million business. That doesn't make you. What defines you is who God created you to be, how you live, how you go, how you operate, how you grow, and who the people you touch. What signifies my life as a called man of God is how many people have been saved, touched, because I'm alive. Has nothing to do with me. The situations you went through in life are not for you. They're to help somebody else get through. If you fall in private, you're definitely going to fall in public. There are many people that look a certain way in the churches, in the communities, in the spotlight, but they're different people. People know who I am. I'm a nice guy no matter what. And I've been screwed so many times in life by people I've done so much for. I'm going to come at you because of what you won't do for me. And people don't understand, when you come out of God's people, God answers. He answers. You have to understand that a man and a woman of God that lives out of lust and out of their emotions is going to be a blessed person. You know why? Because they understand the things that Satan uses to entice you don't work. It don't work. Everybody look good. Everybody, please. I've beaten that. You know what I mean? I'm beating that. You know, when you get to a point emotional, I'm out of my emotions. You know, that's why I went back to therapy, to understand why things happen, because it makes sense. You know, that's the impact of jealousy. People are afraid of your impact. People aren't going to pour nothing to you because they're afraid of your impact. They ain't going to ask you to speak. They don't ask you to do anything. You know how many ministers I know that won't work with me and ain't going to work with me? And it ain't because I've done something to them or done something in my service with them. It's because they're afraid of the impact. And me, I'm living that impact down for approval to people. Not realizing with or without their approval, you get nothing anyway. That's the crazy part about it. That was the part in therapy that hit me like a ton of bricks. I am going out of my way to bless people, or going out of my way to belittle myself, going out of my way to look non-threatening to people just to fit in a place where they've given me nothing anyway. It's sad. You're afraid of losing that relationship with that man. He do nothing for you but take your money, treat you bad, cheat on you. You're afraid of losing that woman because she looks a certain way and she do something. You're afraid of losing people who don't do anything for you. Guess what? What have you lost when you lose them? Nothing. I want you to think about that. Anyone who rises against you and you're God sent and you're doing what's right is actually going against God. This is what my enemies need to know. If I'm doing what's right and I'm sent by God, you are not fighting me. No matter what you say about me, no matter what you put your mouth on me, no matter what you tell the church, no matter what you tell anybody, if God sent me to do a work and you won't allow me to do that work, or you say whatever you say against me, you're not going against me, you're going against God. This is what people don't understand when it comes to God sent people. Many people think that I'm going to rise against you. You're not rising against me. You're rising against God. You're rising against what God said. And you have to deal with them. And just like God can remove people, he can remove you. You're not stopping what God said. Matter of fact, you're cursing your own life by saying these things. In my New Year's, I'm not holding back. And I'm not playing no games. I got work for God to do. I don't have time to worry about trivial things. My name is on next levels. I don't have time to cry about a level I've outgrown to try to fit in it. You can keep that level. I don't need your level. If you don't want to let me in the first floor, I'll just go and work hard to move on the second floor or on the third floor. Or matter of fact, go up to the penthouse to eventually I don't even know you down there. So I don't have to worry about that. And here it is. You guys gonna set resolutions, which are resolutions. The only way that these resolutions or resolutions, as you say, are going to work, they're only going to work if you set solid 2026 boundaries and enforce them. I want you to get that. I want you to get that. I want you to get that. You have to set these boundaries. Go around, shut the door. You have to set these boundaries and you got to enforce them. I have my boundaries for 2026 and I'm going to share them with you. I'm going to share all my boundaries with you. You have to, and I'm going to enforce my boundaries. I have my motto. I can't help anybody anymore without helping myself first, until I'm done helping myself first. But these are my boundaries that I'm going to enforce. I am going to protect my energy, and I'm either going to give you back the energy that you give me or give you no energy at all. Because everything and everyone doesn't deserve my energy. Because I know my energy is powerful, infectious, and it blesses people. So I am not going to give everybody my energy. If you have a bad attitude and you're a negative person, I am not going to give you my energy. I am going to protect my energy, because like my therapist said, I'm going to protect what goes into my ears, just like I protect what goes into my belly. I protect what I inhale, and I protect myself who I'm around. So listen, if you are a negative person who want to keep up negative stuff, and your posture or your love or whatever you got for me is dry and it is low, you can keep it. I'm not going to even give you energy to try to pull it out you. If you only got a few words to say to me and you only got a few negatives to say, okay, so be it. You won't hear me, because when it's all said and done and you say to me, well, why things are going in, I'm just simply going to say I'm matching your energy. Or because of the energy you have, I desire not to give you none of mine. Everything doesn't deserve my energy. Everyone doesn't deserve my energy. Everything doesn't deserve a response. Everybody doesn't deserve a response. You know, and listen, once I lose respect for you, I'm done. I'm done. There is no do-overs in 2026. Once you burn me and I'm done, we done. Ain't nothing you can say to me. You might as well, okay, nice knowing you. Bless you. I pray you have a great life. See you. Wouldn't want to be here. That's one of my boundaries, my energy protection. My second boundary is my peace. Peace is a requirement, not a reward. You will not be in my life. You will not be around me, and you will not work with me if you don't add peace or you don't bring me peace. I will not be a part of anything that takes away my peace. There is not enough money. That is because you know what? I work in a place where I'm good. I can work on side or away from people. I don't have to worry about it. You know, I can come in and don't say a word, nobody. So I can keep my peace. But I won't live in a place with somebody. I won't be married to someone. I won't be friends with. I won't be dealing with family. Nobody that does not give me peace. The minute you take me out of my peace, then I'll take myself out of the equation. Simple. That's why I don't help people without helping myself first, because I'm never going to let anybody ever put me in a position of vulnerability where I can't not deal with them, but I have to deal with them because everything tied up. It's not going to happen. I'm never going to do that again. I've done that, where I put everything I had into somebody and something, and then they come out a bag on me and I'm lost. No, that will not happen. It is not going to happen. That's not going to happen. If we're not going to have peace, beautiful dialogue like respectful adults, if we're not going to work together to build something, we're not going to make that love and life a special place for both of us, and that's with anybody. You want to call me, complain about how bad life is, I am cutting you off. I got to go. Somebody's calling me. Click. Simple. And it ain't lying, because Jesus is calling me all the time. So I am not doing that. I am not letting you fill me up with negativity. You know what? I've been sleeping so much, I scare myself, because I'm finally in a life in a place of uninterruptedness. I'm uninterrupted. I'm not worried about what people think. I'm not worried about what people do. I'm not worried about whoever. I'm not worried about those things. God is blessing me. He blessed me with new positions, blessed me with financial blessings, blessed me with new things. The doors are opening. And I'm not fighting to be in somebody else's. God didn't heal me just for me to sit down and shut up. No. That's why I'm glad I have a radio ministry. I'm glad I have ministry where I can talk and speak and help people. I don't have to go to somebody, wait till somebody give me a okay to be something that God said I was already, to do what God has already told me to do. It ain't me that have to be on the pool. Hey, listen, when I was pastor, I only preached twice a month. I made sure that the other ministers preach, because I wanted everybody to have an opportunity. But I ain't too big that I won't serve in the kitchen, that I won't mop a floor, that I won't clean a bathroom. I take more pleasure in teaching Bible study than I do preaching on Sunday. I take more pleasure in teaching Sunday school than I do. I don't need to be in front of a church. But if you gonna tell me that with all the work that's done, I can't work because I don't agree with you, please. So for me, peace is a requirement, because it'll make no difference what position you have if there's no power. There's a lot of people that was touching Jesus with the lady that issue of blood out there. They had their hands on him. There's a lot of people who got ministries going on. They're here to big churches. They got all these broadcasts on Facebook, but they ain't touching Jesus. Jesus ain't stopping. All you hear is people giving all these words and collecting, but how many people you seen delivered, healed? How many miracles you seen? How many people you see get up and walk? I do. See, when God is using, he bears witness to it. You don't have to put on a show. The devil ain't scared of these Sunday shows. These Sunday shows and Sunday where everybody shout and yell, and then you turn around, people still walking out broken. He ain't afraid of that. And this time it's the true blood washed Christians, where people are being helped. Jesus is coming back. We ain't got no time to be playing. So peace is a requirement. I don't care how good you look. I don't care what you bring to the table. You ain't going to talk to me any kind of way. You ain't going to treat me any way. You're not going to make me feel like I'm your spare, because I'm going to treat you like your spare. I'm going to, because if I'm your afterthought, then fine. That's anybody. I'm good, because I realize, just like Dr. Thomas told me, is ain't nobody help you carrying your bricks. They ain't got nothing to say to you about how you do whatever. When you want to put in work with me, then you have a right to say something to me. When you want to go in and we go together, then we got a right to talk. But if I'm just somebody that's with you and helping you or whatever, then you got nothing to say that. You're going to say to me. If I'm putting in the work, what are you going to say to me? Nothing. Here go another boundary that I will not. I don't explain what God already said to me. Because if you're a spiritual leader, like you said, then God confirmed it to you. If God didn't confirm it to you and you going by your opinion, then you're not a spiritual leader. Because if God didn't show you, I know what God said about me. So I'm okay with not being in certain places. I'm fine. Because I always want to explain what God said to me, but nobody is going to hear that, especially if they're blinded by the impact. I don't care what you say. I don't care what you do. I want you to get that. You're never going to explain to people what God said to you because they wasn't there. It wasn't a conference call. And as long as you impacting people, you're never going to get them to verify that. They don't care. They're not thinking about that whatsoever. They don't care. They don't, it doesn't make a difference to them what you're doing because they have already made it up in their mind that they're going to do and say and see what they want to see. It doesn't matter what you show them. It doesn't matter what God, because if God really showed them, and this is something that it took me a long time to get, if God really showed you that I'm supposed to be working with you and working through you, then I would be working. And it don't even matter to me what I'm doing. You know, I don't need to be, let me work. Let me do altar work. Let me collect the, offering. Let me do something. But don't tell me there is nothing for me to do. And you say what God showed you. No, thank you. I'm not just sitting there. I know I'm not paying my time. I'm not going to sit up and just pay just to sit down and to somebody. No, I'm not going to do it. I'm coming to work. I go where I'm going to work. If I want to sit down, I can sit down at home. I'm going to work. That's what it's about. We got people with lost souls. That's why I do all my work outside the church. You hear me all the time say that the real church service starts at the benediction. The church service is actually training so you can go out there and get lost souls. We're not sanctuary saints where we just sit down and come to church every day and look good in a dress, in a suit, and do nothing. That's not what it's about. So I don't explain anymore, and I will never explain in 2026 what God said to me. Because if God didn't show you, you ain't going to believe me. Because there are a lot of leaders who are dealing with insecurities and undiagnosed anxieties. So all you see is the impact and you threaten. So I'm not going to worry about that, because if I'm truly sent to be with you, then you'll let me work. So I'm not explaining no more. I'm not explaining why God said go this way. I'm not explaining why God told me to do this with my finances, why he told me to go this way to get this started, to buy this. I'm not explaining that for two reasons. Why? Is because I put in the work and God told me. Whether anybody accepted it don't matter, because most people that got a bad opinion about me, they may think I'm difficult, I'm this, or a lot of people think I got a very strong analytical mind. They ain't putting in no work with me. See, I respect it different when somebody gonna put in work with me. You gonna work with me to build something, then you could talk. But if I'm doing all the work, you can't tell me how to do my life. You can't tell me that God, I should do something different, because I'm doing it God's way. The only thing I want in 2026 is what God has for me and a closer relationship with Jesus. I want to know Jesus like his disciples walk with him. I want more of him. I won't be consumed. That's all I want, because I understand having Jesus that way, that he ordering my steps. So no matter where he sends me, I'm good. No matter what he says for me to do, I'm good. No matter where he tells me to go, I'm good. That's what I want, because anything that I attain in this world, if I become a millionaire or I get everything, it means nothing if I die unsaved. I'm going to hell. So everything you got that means nothing if you don't have Jesus. I'm not explaining what God said to me. One of the worst things about our Christian life and our Christians is we're so judgmental. We're so worried about what we look like. You know, we feel that you have to look a certain way, or you got to do a certain way in order to be saved, not understanding that there is no work you can do. You can't buy your way into heaven. You can't work your way into heaven. The Bible said God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. He didn't say God so loved the world because the world paid a price. The world couldn't pay a price. And you know why the world couldn't pay a price? Because we serve a God that's always been an eternal God. So therefore, we created an eternal offense against God, sinning against God, which took an eternal being or eternal God to pay an eternal price for us to have eternal life. That's why he took the keys from Satan, because he's the only one that went to hell and came out with the keys. Nobody else. Think about that. Look at the scripture on that. They bowed, they moved. They were defeated. They knew when Jesus walked to hell. He paid an eternal price. That's why Satan can never be redeemed. He going to hell. Because you know why? What he did against God is an eternal offense. Think about that. We're in time. So we have a time to get things right. They're not in time. They're in eternity already. And hell was meant for Satan and his imps, those angels that rebel. And some of them are already locked up because they were mating with the human beings. That's why you got those giants and the dinosaurs and all that stuff, because they were mating, and they were locked up immediately in hell. Satan wasn't, because Satan didn't do it. He allowed them to do it. And that's why you got your demons and you got those things coming. That's what it was for. But if you don't accept God and you don't go through Jesus Christ and all these religious mess that's out here that don't acknowledge that your only way to heaven is through Jesus Christ, where else you going? You're going to hell. Let me go a little bit further. Ooh, I hope this is good. Y'all better share this. That's one of my boundaries. My next boundary is to avoid emotional chaos. That is not spiritual debt. People have mixed up emotional chaos with spiritual death. You know, God is telling me to suffer. No, he ain't. God is not telling you to start that business when you know you can't even manage your apartment. God is not telling you to stay in a place where you're being emotionally and physically abused. God is not telling you that. Everybody want to make all of their insecurities, bad moves, and lies God is doing something. God ain't tried to do nothing. The Bible said he knows the beginning at the end at the beginning. He knows. Your life has already been calculated by God. So whatever God is going to do in your life, he's already doing it. It's already done. You got to catch up to it. But people call themselves, I'm spiritually deaf. No, you're not. That's emotional chaos. If every time you judging another man or woman of God and you always got to say something, some of y'all, and I'm just going to say it, some of you Christian women going to be single for the rest of your life because you're always judging somebody. You're always talking about what somebody is not doing. Do you understand? The Bible says that the same standard you judge people on, God is going to judge you on. So every time you see a man who ain't doing nothing, or he ain't this, or he ain't that preacher, or he ain't that. You know, I had somebody say something to me because they see me with a Masonic hat on. And I told them that they don't know the true history of Masonry. Masonry didn't come from England or it come from the United States. It came from Africa. It was never a religion. It was actually the builders. Why do you think out of all the people in this world, North America came for Africa? You know why? Because they had pyramids built. They had sphinxes built. If you look at the history of Masonry, it started with an African group called the Moors. And why it was the Moors? Because the Moors created mathematics. There is nothing on a Masonic sign that has anything to do with religion. It's all about working tools, building. But because they were still in their trade, when they got them Africans who was built, because everything that was created in the United States, it came from the knowledge from the Africans that was bought over in the slave trade. And because we were considered property, we could not put our name on anything. I don't wear that sign because of what England or the demonic mess that they tried to do in Chicago. I mean, in United States, I don't wear it because I wear it because of my sisters and brothers, Masons that was on the boat that was bought over here in chains and slavery, and that they built everything. They built everything you see from railroads to everything. They were builders. That's why they went to Africa. They could have went to the port of Singapore. They could have went and got people over in China. Why Africa? Because Africa was rich with gold, rich with masonry. It was rich with it. And what happened? The England took the money. And what did America take? America took the craft. But people don't want to do that history on that. And so what happened was, for America to have that biggest secret of masonry and why they got Africans, they twisted it and put all that negative mess in it so that we'll have religious leaders arguing about it being some kind of coding, because that's what they made it, to hide the fact that they stole the masonry from Africa, the builders that was in Africa. But people don't want to look at that. You never hear about the Moors. The Moors was the richest nation. The king of the Moors, he was the wealthiest man ever. He was wealthy. They had mathematics. They had palaces that was built that you never seen. Do you know some of the leading mathematicians can't figure out how they built those pyramids perfectly. Dynamitors. But again, that's what people make it, because people don't want to deal with the truth. And that's why people go through spiritual chaos. Some of you all better stop calling your insecurities, calling your dysfunctions, calling your anxiety, calling your past hurt, calling the things you've been through, calling it spiritual depth. It's not. It's not. That's why I recommend every man and woman of God, I recommend them to go see a therapist. You go see a doctor for your body, go see a therapist. Because you got to let go of that stuff, because some of y'all are holding on to it. But God gonna make, no, he's not. He's not. You cannot say that there's no good men or women out here and then say God gonna bring you one. That's contradicted. That's double-mindedness. The devil always wins against a Christian who is double-minded. He loves that. But many people don't see that. I am not going to look at the fact that I am double-minded. I am acting a different way than what I'm preaching. I am speaking a different way. One thing about me, make it biblical, because there is nothing that I say that I can't go biblical. Everything I say, let's go to the word. Show me where I'm wrong. Show me. Well, I was told. No, forget what you was told. Go study yourself. 2 hours a day before I go to work. In the fourth watch of prayer, I go and study every day, because I know that I need my sword to fight them demons. Because you got to remember something. If everybody don't remember, when Jesus tempted, when the devil tempted Jesus, he twisted the word. And there are a lot of slick leaders with no power that can twist God's word to make it their point. And they're making great points with no power. When the word is used the way God commissioned it to be used, you see power. Demons have to obey the word. They have to flee. When you're speaking the word, Jesus spoke the word back to him. He spoke the word back to him. And you got to know that word. So I stay away from emotional chaos. If you're all over the place and you're emotional and all you want to do is dump, I ain't got enough for you. Because I didn't create that in you. I didn't make you that person. And one thing that CORREY WRIGHT, Pastor CORREY WRIGHT, will not do another year, another moment, another month. I will never let anybody make me pay for something that somebody else did to them. I won't let you. You're not going to beat me up for your situation that had nothing to do with me. If I didn't get you into nothing, you don't have a right to belittle me because of what you in. I'm not asking people for respect. I'm demanding it. And I don't mind losing nobody that don't want to respect me, especially you brought nothing to me. Come on. That was a me I wouldn't be. I would, for a long time. I'm a work thing. No, I ain't working it out. Bye. I ain't working it out. Another thing is, I'm responsible for my own mind. I'm responsible for my mind. I am not letting people creep in. I'm not worried about stuff. I'm not. One of the things is, that's why it's so important that you go see a therapist, because you have to clear your mind. Your greatest battles in your life is in your mind. My greatest battles in my life is in my mind. I've set up in my mind battling while God had worked everything out, period. Hey, what's going on, Chatia? I'm battling everything in my mind. And that's what kills people, is what you're battling in your mind. God already worked it out. He already has a solution. You're battling it in your mind. You are responsible. That's one of my boundaries. My first boundaries is everybody don't deserve my energy. Second one, peace is required. No questions. And I will never explain. That's my next boundary, is I will never explain what God already said to me. And I will stay away from emotional chaos. Because a lot of times people think emotional chaos, is spiritual depthness, and it's not. And I'm responsible for my mind. I'm responsible. I got a good job and it pays for my therapy. And it's a blessing, because sometimes you have to quiet your own voice in your head. You have to be in an emotional place where you have your emotions, because I believe in radical acceptance. I believe that everything had to happen the way it happened, and it happened. And then you will see at the end of it, we go to the doctor, everything else. You're right, Shatia. And one of the things that people don't get is that you're responsible. The devil keeps bringing up stuff. And he always want to take you back to a place that'll bring you into your most vulnerable place to make you think about where you messed up. But if God forgave you and threw it in the sea of forgiveness, why you keep bringing it up? And some of y'all keep trying to live backwards. You can't. It happened. Let it go. Give it to God. Boom. And you have to do that. So you got to look at it like you're responsible for your mind. And listen, you got many brilliant preachers, million brilliant counselors, but you need to go to a professional therapist. You got too many preachers out here trying to be therapists. You're not. You're not trained to be a therapist. You cannot be a therapist. You can give people scriptures, but some people need to unlearn behaviors that they were forced to learn because of life's hardships and bad experiences. I don't care how much you preach and lay hands on somebody. If somebody was violated as a child or violated physically, that prayer will help and bless, but they need to talk about letting those feelings out, and they need a constructive plan of getting help. They don't need you to keep preaching to them and they okay for a minute and go home and be broken all week. They need professional help. Watch this. Discernment protects my destiny. I had to be honest about everybody that ever did something to me. God showed me about them people. Even the person that lied on me at work, God showed me who that person was through somebody else. You know what I mean? And a lot of times we turn off our discernment because of what we like. You know, many people say this person came out of bag. No, they didn't. God warned you about that person, but because of how that person looked or what that person got or where that person is, you wanted them. And you got them. And it delayed or derailed your destiny. You must use godly discernment with people. Try them by the Spirit. Look at the fruit they're bearing. I don't give a care how fine you are. You could be the finest orange tree I ever seen in my life. If there is no oranges, drop it. You're not an orange tree. What are you doing? People don't see how many people I touch every day. I do more ministry work and touch more people not seen than people see. And I'm not saying that for any self-grandizing. I'm saying that ministry work don't always have to be on TV or everybody want a camera. I never understood when they go feed the homeless, everybody taking selfies that you feed them. Why? You don't have to take away their dignity. They already know they need help. Why you have to film it? Or you see people on TV giving money. They giving money with a selfie stick. Come on. Who are you doing that for? You ain't doing it for God. For the Bible said what you're doing to the least of us, you also do to me. So you ain't doing it for them. So you need that discernment. And also, I choose alignment over access. Do you align with who God created me to be? Do you align with where I'm going? Do you align for what God has for my life? Do you align with building with? Do you align with me? I don't care about access. You can't access me unless you align with me. I trust what God says. Sometimes I may not understand it right now, but I will eventually. You know, because there were some moves I made that I don't understand why God sent me this way, but it's fine. But I'm alignment over access. If you don't align with me, I don't care if you have nothing to do with me. Nothing from nothing is nothing. So if we don't align, so be it. If you never talk to me, so be it. Because I was so worried about losing people until I realized I was losing nothing. So I'm looking for alignment. That's one of my boundaries. Alignment over access. You want to access me? Align with me. You know, not just access. And then my last boundary, and I'm going to go through them again. My first boundary, and I'm enforcing these 2026 boundaries that I am enforcing wholeheartedly and whole spiritually. Not everyone deserves my energy. I'm protecting my energy, and I'm not giving my energy to energy suckers. And I'm not going back and forth with anybody. Everybody don't deserve my energy from a response. Every situation don't deserve my energy. If somebody talk about me behind my back, so be it. I want in that conversation. Let them do it. It makes no difference to me. You know, energy. Peace is a requirement. If there is no peace in what we in, there is no what we in. Period. My next one is I don't explain anymore what God already said to me. It doesn't make a difference what people's opinion is. If God says start that business, I don't care if you ask 400 people what they think about that business. It don't matter because God says start it. If God says start a ministry, forget who says you moving on. It doesn't make a difference because God's instruction is not going to always come with an audience. God going to take you in that secret place and you got to do what you have to do. Moses spoke to God in the burning bush. Moses and God. Everybody wasn't there with Moses. Don't explain no more. And stop being in emotional chaos. And stop trying to say emotional chaos is spiritual depth. It's just that you ain't healed. And that emotional depthness you're talking about is God just keeping you until you do heal. But it ain't that you spiritually adept. Problems don't make you more spiritually in tune. They make you stronger. It makes you realize how much you need Jesus, but you don't get a medal for going through stuff. Come on. You want people to, I'm deep because I've been through. No, you're not deep. God is deep because God bought you out of that. It ain't about you. It's about him. And then I'm responsible. My other boundary, I'm responsible for my mind. I don't mind what somebody else think. I'm responsible for my mind. Most people say, well, you can pray. No, you need to go to I need to go to therapy. However you got over it, because you got some people think you don't need to go to therapy and don't realize their insecurities is the one keeping them. That's the reason why they don't have nobody. That's what people ain't going to have them, because you're not going. But you're responsible for your mind. Also, discernment protects your destiny. God shows you about people. He said, try them by the Spirit and by the fruit they bear. And then I choose alignment over access. Now, here's my last boundary, and this is going to blow you away. Watch this. No one-on-one private anything with someone, with somebody you know and you don't know. If it can't happen publicly, it can't happen. I travel while I leave clean. Too many people have given me warm accolades privately after talking about me publicly. Too many people have said what I mean to them privately, but won't do it publicly. Don't give me a compliment that you won't give me open. Listen to me. If I'm a bad person to you publicly, then don't let me be a good person to you privately. Don't utilize anything about me if you think I'm bad publicly, privately. I allow many people to snow me or use me because they're using me for my benefit privately, but then they shoot me down publicly. There are many ministries that want me to support them publicly, privately, but don't want nothing to do with me publicly. Many people call me and ask me for donations, asking me to bless them, but they women and men of God, but won't ever call me and see how I'm doing. No, privately, let me get some money, but they'll never mention me blessing them openly. Not that I need that. Or they'll say, man, you touched my life and you doing a good job, but they'll never say it openly. There are con people who are only conning you because they want you to feel special in private, and they don't want to show love to you openly because they put their mouth on you publicly. There is no more one-on-one private nothing. If you can't defend me openly, you can't defend me privately. If you can't show me love in front of everybody, you can't show me love privately. I will, if we can't, it can't happen publicly, it can't happen. If you can't say you touch my life and you mean something to me and I'm rolling with you publicly, don't come to me and do it. That's how people play you, because they don't want you. They want what you have and what God put in you. There are many people that will sit down and eat at your table in private and walk past you in public in front of people. That can't happen no more. That's my boundary. Don't call me privately and say how much I mean to you and God's going to do this, but then you don't say nothing public. I ain't got no respect for you. See you. No. I don't need private love. I got God. I got family members. I got people that love me. I don't need no more private love. You know, if you ain't going to openly love me, don't privately love me. I got friends. I got friends at work. I got friends, period. And my friends show love openly. And you're not going to do that. Don't say nothing to me. Don't do it. If I'm supposed to be your person and you only show love to me privately and not openly, no, can't do it. 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 The reason why is because I travel covered and I leave clean. I'm going to travel covered. We covered together, fine. We travel. But if you don't want nothing to do with me publicly, I'm going to leave clean. Because one of the things that I've beaten a lot of people with and made me feel good, my therapist told me, is you've been the one that's always given. So you have a right to leave. You're the one that's always given. You got a right to leave. Ain't nothing they can say to you. Many people don't want to do that. I ain't gonna even make an effort to you. Why I ain't gonna make an effort to you? It's because I'm gonna tell you why I ain't gonna make an effort to you, because I can get what I want from you without even making an effort towards you. I can get what I want from you without even seeing you, without doing. I ain't got to do that. No more private meetings. No more private meetings. No. No. No one-on-one private anything with someone, known and unknown. If it can't happen publicly, it can't happen. I've watched leaders tell me one thing and get in front of their spouses and get in front of their people and say another thing. No, thank you. I don't want a part of that. I don't want a part of that. So that's the truth. You ain't gonna openly protect me. You know, that big old thing with Jamal Bryant's wife. She wore the dress, everybody going in. That's her prerogative. But he openly went in. He went in. He have a right to protect his wife. And he did it publicly because people publicly saying something. That's my thing. I got a lot of people love me in private. I ain't going to say nothing about you openly because you know why? I said something negative about you to them already. So I can't say that openly. Okay, guess what? I'm nowhere near you. I'm not in your life. I'm nowhere near you, period. Because you ain't going to love me in private and leave me hanging in public. No, thank you. I put in too much work in private to worry about what somebody think about me in public. Now, I got a few more things. I'm just being honest. I'm a whole different person this year. And not because I have any resolutions. I have resolutions. I have solutions. I'm doing what has kept me in a bad place. And what I'm doing the opposite of what kept me in a bad place. And I've always been hoodwinked and hurt by leaders and by people because they love me in private and won't love me in open. They tell me everything I want to have and they leave me hanging in public. Well, I told this part, okay, good. Don't worry about it. Now, so watch me grow and watch me go to another level without you. Well, you know, watch me become happy or go somewhere without you. Because again, you just want private. And one of the things that I want you to know, nothing matters to me in 2026 more than my relationship with Jesus. And the reason why is because I finally realized out of all these years, 52 years, that God can do more with my life than I can. Okay, how gifted I am, how smart I am, how much money I have. God is the only one that's going to get the best out of my life. Nobody else. Nobody else can. Not even me. And I want people to understand that new beginnings don't wait for perfect conditions. Start where you are. You're never going to get it right. You have to identify the distractions and the things that make you or hurt you or keep you stagnated and deal with those things. Everything and what I'm saying right now on my radio show is what I'm dealing with. First thing, my motto, you know, I can't help nobody until I help myself first. I realized that I was going out my way, giving people and helping people who would leave me hanging, wouldn't think about me twice. And I was letting them make their emergency my emergency. and I was giving them what I needed, and I was letting them pull me out of position. Because one of the things that Satan was really good at, something big, he'll send somebody to suck my blessings out of me. He'll send somebody that I care about that needs. He'll send them constantly. Family members, friends, loved ones, everyone. You know, I'm in a bad place. And what do? I help people at the detriment of myself. Won't happen again. I can't help you until I'm done helping myself first. Until I get what I need to get going, then I can help you without hurting myself. That's the whole point. And it's not that I'm selfish, but you got to be able to help somebody without hurting yourself. You cannot give somebody your rent money because they're in a bad place and then they can't pay you. You cannot get yourself in a bad situation financially with somebody that's unstable and then something happened. Now you're responsible. You got to be smarter than that. And you got to start where you are. I don't live at the top of my means for what I make. I don't. I save. I put up. I'm working on some major things. You know, I'm working on property. I'm working on other stuff. So I don't live in no big houses. You know, I live in a modest apartment. I drive a 2010. I could go drive a 2026 if I want to. But my money goes to something bigger because I want to be able to make enough money where I can go into the lot I want to go to and buy the car, that my dream car, the way I want to buy it, fully loaded, and pay for it in cash. I don't believe in these car notes and all that other mess and all these credit traps. No, thank you. And that's what I work for. You know, I may not have a lot of fancy cars like a lot of them where I work at, but you know what? Mine is paid for. Mine is paid for. Ain't nobody come and take it mine. Now, you must understand the strategies of the enemy. The enemy try to defeat you by distracting you. Have you ever noticed, and I said this in my last radio show, is whenever you are close, that's why if you have to get away for some months, do that. Because the enemy defeats you with distractions. There are some really good relationships and good business ideas and good things that would have been great together if there was no distractions. If people wasn't in your business. They'll always send you somebody. They'll always send you somebody. The devil always sends you somebody to disrupt that. As soon as you build your boat, he'll send a lot of mates to try to be your co-captain. After you done put all your time, money, effort, blood, sweat, and tears to be your mate. That's why I love how when Noah built the ark, we talking about over 100 years, and how he was mocked and everybody laughed at him. But when God shut that door, he couldn't open it. And you heard all the people banging on the door to get in. You couldn't. Noah had to listen to all the people drown. What you think about that? You got to look at, and he built that in 100 years. He never stopped. 100 years worth of building just to save his family life. 100 years just to save his family life. And you got to understand, who are you uninterrupted? The devil sends distractions. I've been blessed. I've been promoted. And I'm in a good place to get things off. And what happened? The devil tried to send a distraction, tried to send a dirty person to lie on me at work. And it ain't going to happen because I got many witnesses to show that she's lying. You know, the person's lying. And, you know, and it's just amazing how people you help try to get you. But, you know, but when people say stuff and they try to hurt somebody, I'm going to say something. And this person lied on me because I said something to some people that this person lied on, trying to get these people fired. I'm not going to let you do that. And I said something. And now the person lying on me. So, but it don't matter because I feel sorry for that person because God going to deal with them. You can't hurt people. God going to deal with you. And everybody know you lying. but people stupid. Also, we have to look at the key to loving yourself in a relationship. What is the key to loving? This was something that 2 weeks ago in one of my therapy sessions, Dr. Thomas asked me, is you have to have a key to loving somebody for it to work. And you have to have a key for them to fall in love with you. And what is your key? And I said, well, I can't answer that question. He said, you know what your key is? Because of who God made you, because of what God put in you, you have to allow somebody to fall in love with you and fall in love with themselves at the same time. Because you draw a person who you draw people that's going through stuff, and most times insecurities, or going through stuff that they haven't healed from, and they don't love themselves. So you got to let them fall in love with you, while that energy is redirecting them to also fall in love with themselves at the same time. So by the time they realize they love you, they realize they love themselves. That's deep. That's a deep love key. That key right there will unlock a lot of stuff. And just so y'all know, I'm getting ready with my boys to watch this Avatar movie that's 3 hours and 15 minutes. Oh my goodness. My son know I want to jack him up for going to see this movie. But it's a long movie. Good, googly woo. So that's my love key. And in that love key, I have to make a habit of shutting down conversations that involve hating on others. That is the main thing that causes conflict. Blew me away when I was reading this, when Dr. Thomas was showing me this. Do you know what makes people get into many arguments is because they disagree about somebody else, or somebody is talking about somebody else? That my love key is to allow you to fall in love with me, but make sure you fall in love with yourself, because sometimes you can love somebody more than you love yourself, and that will never produce anything good. If you don't love me like you love yourself, or you don't love me and love yourself equally or greater, we have a problem. And then we have to avoid all conversations of people of hating on others. That person doing good. That person going through this, I don't care. That has nothing to do with us. Yeah, he cheated on her. Yeah, that's him cheating on her. We're not cheating on each other here. So it shouldn't be a part of our conversation. So I don't hold conversations with anybody anymore that's going to hate on somebody else. Because you dirty, you got to pay for that. So in closing, one of the things we got to do is to level up. We have to understand what level we on. And there are multiple higher levels with my name on it. I can no longer try to fit in levels I've outgrown, because my impact will always make me an enemy to somebody that's in leadership. That's what I learned in therapy. That's what life-changing to me. That's why I have to be a pastor, because I can't go work with other ministries. I can work and associate with ministries, but I can't work under certain other ministries. I can't, because my impact is always going to make me an enemy to that leader. Why? Because the impact it's going to change. So I got to keep you at a point where your impact does not rival me. And it's not that I'm trying, but I understand that, because Dr. Thomas broke it down to me real good. He said, what you don't understand, even at work or where you are, why do people talk about you? Why do people go in on you? Why do everybody have something to say? Because you are impactful. You change people's atmospheres. You make people feel better. You come in every day from work, you smiling, you laughing, you in a great mood, you talking stuff, you making people feel good. You are impactful. He said, I bet you everybody know your name where you work at because you'll talk to anybody. You're impactful. And so when you look at that, you're trying to fight in levels you outgrown. You're trying to fit in a church where they want you to fit in levels you outgrown because they don't want you to work because of your impact. Don't do it. Don't do it. There's too much work on the outside of the church that needs to be done for you to fight to work on the inside. Because the training ground is on the inside of a church. The real ministries at the benediction for lost souls. So I stopped fighting to be in places because I understand my impact. And I don't have to worry about what someone says, what somebody don't allow me to do wherever I go. And this is one of the greatest lessons that I opened up 2026 with. Wherever I go, I'm going to make an impact. I don't need to be in a certain place to make an impact. I can make an impact in the streets. I can make an impact in prison. I can make an impact on a job. I can make an impact everywhere. I don't need to be in a certain place. I don't need to be on a certain pulpit. I don't need to be in a certain ministry. I'm going to make an impact wherever I go. And now I understand that. Another thing that I had to realize, even though there are some people I thought was dirty and did some dirty to me, I still have to treat those people like Jesus died for them. I still got to treat them like Jesus died for them. That Jesus died for the dirt they've doing. And that to try to help them get redeemed and saved. That's one of the things that I had to look at. Don't take it personal. This person may say something, do something dirty. That's fine. I still got to remember Jesus died for you. Jesus loved you enough that he died for you. And I got to treat you like he died for you. He said, I got to love my enemies. Now I ain't got to have access to my enemies, but I got to love and forgive my enemies. So I got to treat them like Jesus died for them. I can't take everything personal. I can't fight with everybody. I can't go. No. So if people want to say something negative or start something, don't worry about it. Jesus died for you. I'm gone. Think about that. That's one of the worst things and hardest things to do, forgiving. Most people think that's an easy ministry. It's not. To forgive people for what they've done dirty and maliciously, it's hard. But you have to. Because you have to remember Jesus died for them. And this year, be quiet. Stop educating your enemies because you're talking too much. Stop educating your enemies. There are some people that don't like you, will never like you, and they're just talking to you so that they can use it against you. There are certain people at work I don't talk to because if I talk to them, I'm educating my enemies. There are certain people in my life I don't talk to because I'm educating my enemies. There are neighbors that I have that I don't talk to because I'm educating my enemies. There are churches that I don't talk to or communicate with the people because I am educating my enemies. What God said I was going to do will manifest this year. I have no doubt. What God says I will have will manifest this year. I have no doubt. Who God said I'm going to marry, I will marry this year. I have no doubt. I know God has a plan. All I want is Jesus. I want a level of 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 Jesus in my life. I want a level like never before. So I stopped talking to people. People don't know what I'm doing, what I got going on. They don't know the things I'm working with. I don't educate my enemies because we're always complaining and talking. All we doing is educating our enemies, and that's why the enemy throw exactly. If you keep saying that you hurting, guess what? You're gonna hurt. If you keep saying that you broke, guess what? You're gonna be broke. If you keep saying that you tired of the way things is, guess what? You're gonna stay tired because you're educating the enemy. The devil doesn't know what goes, he doesn't know what you're thinking. He just throws suggestions in your head, and what comes out of your mouth proves him right or wrong. You can't say anything negative no more. If you said you're educating your enemies, you know, they're looking at that. I can't get this. You know what? You can't get this because you're educating your enemies. Now they know how to fight you. This is bothering you. Okay, let's keep fighting you in that. You're educating your enemy. And my last point, I dropped a lot of nuggets today. I'm gonna listen to this show myself about 3 or 4 times. I've dropped a lot of nuggets, but this is the greatest nugget I'm gonna drop today. On my New Year's, my first show of the new year. This is the thing we think about resolutions and everything. Deliverance gets you out of Egypt, but discipline gets Egypt out of you. I'm going to say that again. Deliverance gets you out of Egypt, but discipleship gets Egypt out of you. Discipleship, the root word of disciple is discipline. God can deliver you, but if what he delivered you from is still in you, wherever you go, you're going to keep going to a place where you have to be delivered from. Because what he delivered from you is inside of you. Some of us are adults still living childhood trauma, pain. Some of us are still talking about what somebody did to them and relationship. Do you know many relationships nowadays, your first date is about somebody ex? Have you ever been on a date where you were looking at somebody that you like, you want to get to know, and all they want to talk about what they ex did and what they've been through, and never talking about where they're going, what can you offer me, and what's in your heart? All they care about is reliving something that they can't relive. God delivered you from Egypt, but you need the Holy Spirit in discipleship to deliver the Egypt out of you. As soon as they went across the Red Sea after sin, all that God did, and Moses up there getting the law, they building a calf. What blows me away, and I'm talking about myself included, is how I felt in situations after God has already blessed me through those situations. But what do? I go back to the same ways of thinking. Some of you all, and my therapist said this to me, that God is delaying your blessings because he knows the character you would have in your blessings. And he is not going to allow you to mess up your life and everybody that's connected to you that's dependent on that blessing and mess up their life because you have the wrong character. When you're in a time of need, it's easy for you to be nice and go what it is. That's one thing my therapist showed me. Who are you when God bless you? Soon as God bless you, you want to go save the world. You want to turn into Superman. So he delayed things, and he let certain people screw you over so that now you don't have those people in your life to take from you, but he allowed you to be at a point where you had to get help for you be a healed people pleaser. So I'm a healed people. I'm healed from people pleasing. I don't care right now. I'm out of my emotions. I don't care what you think about me, because if you add nothing to me, I lose nothing. I don't care. If you don't add spiritual awakeness, you don't add help, you don't add love, you don't add warmth, you don't add these things, you're not building me up, nothing, or we're not working together for me, I don't lose nothing. That dog don't hunt no more. Deliverance gets you out of Egypt, but discipleship gets Egypt out of you. You got to change you. You're facing a new year, and you're facing old problems, situations, and you have to change you inside first. You have to change you. You have to deal with those things. My therapist always tell me, talk about it. Say it out loud. When you say it out loud, you have to own it. This is what hurts me. This is why I failed. This is why I needed a resolution, a new solution, a new accommodation or selling of a problem. But I had to identify my problems. My problems was I didn't know my impact. I was worried about what people think about me, and I would constantly let people use me. I didn't have solid motto or solid boundaries. Because what can somebody say that stop you? I understand that I'm going to do well in public if I'll do well in private. Michael Jordan game did start at North Carolina. That's where he got recognized, but Michael Jordan put in the work before North Carolina. Michael Jordan 6 championships didn't start when he came with the Bulls. He had to put in the work. And I get that. You ain't seen nothing with the fire and the shows that's coming. This is just an inkling of what you about to see. I'm about to raise to a whole nother level in anything I do. And I'm going to do it in the name of Jesus with the strength of God. And I don't care what nobody thinks. I'm not playing small on any radio show I play. I'm not playing small anywhere. Because I understand that last year, even though I was delivered from Egypt, God delivered the Egypt out of me. And that's the difference, people of God. You're facing a new year, and you got these goals and this impact, but you haven't built strong habits. You haven't got rid of the old habits. You haven't got rid of the old things. You want a new year. Find solutions. Find solutions to your problems that you're dealing with. Find solutions for that. People say, well, you got a new job, you're going to work a lot of overtime. That overtime is just for me to get to a point where I ain't got to work no more. People under this oppression, you got to work smart and hard. You can't work smart until you work hard first. There are a lot of people who have government jobs that got businesses now. Why? Because they worked all they could to put up the money they needed and start a business. And now they own a business and people work for them. You have to look at it like that. I have a vision and a goal and a purpose. But I'm only going to do that by doing that. I don't have to announce what I'm doing. I will not educate my enemies. You don't know what I'm working on. You don't know what God is doing. And you can have as many assumptions and speculations if you want. Don't care. But I will tell you this. I won't educate you to stop me. Deliverance gets you out of Egypt. But discipleship gets Egypt out of you. God wants disciples. He wants people to search for him first. He wants people to put him first. All your resolutions mean nothing if you don't get Christ first. Forget about it. I have never made a resolution in life that I kept. Why? Because I didn't have Christ first. It's a resolution. It's to better what you do, how you do it, so that you can see your greatness. You can see all that God has for you. All the other mess, stop it. Please stop it. All that other mess, please stop it. Because it's not worth it. It's not worth it. It is not worth it, people of God. And I thank you guys. I hope you really been blessed by this. I pray that you guys like, love, and share. I want to thank the ownership for allowing me another year to be on the radio. I'm thankful for the following. This year, you will not be disappointed. You will not be disappointed at all. You will not be disappointed in nothing. Trust me. Because I'm going there. I'm going there all year. And I'm going to keep going there. And the first show I got coming up next Saturday is love bombing. I want to tackle that because we can't even give people compliments. When you give somebody a compliment, people worried about you trying to get some. It's so sickening that it's something got to be wrong with us lifting our people up or lifting people up, love bombing. You know what I mean? Like that's all you got to offer is your physical. What about you spiritually and mentally? It ain't even hard to be physical no more. It really is not. It ain't hard to get somebody nowadays. There is a shortage of good people, you know? But if somebody give you a compliment, they love bombing you. I had somebody tell me that I was love bombing them because I thought they was a good person. Come on. Or somebody who gave me a compliment said that I'm sorry I love bombed you. Excuse me? I thank you for the compliment. But am I not a good person? Am I not a good man of God? Am I not handsome? Am I not a good, like we feel like nowadays we can't compliment each other. I'm telling you. So there are a lot of things that people there were a lot of friendships that I had that expired 12/31/2025. There are some people that I purposely ignore. It's simple. We're not going back and forth. We're not. I am what I'm worth to you. And I accept that. That was something in our last, and this is going to be final. That was something in my last therapy session I just had Friday with Dr. Thomas. He said, you are to somebody, you're worth to them. You can look at that two ways. You can be financially worth to them. You could be mentally worth to them. You could be spiritual worth to them. But there is a worth to them that you are. That's why they love you. You are what you are to somebody, what they worth. But there are people that treat you how you worth to them. A lot of times people will love you from a distance. Why? Because that's what you're worth to them. And I'll help people. I want you to get that. I'm not going to help people, but not at my detriment, never again. And sometimes I'll be able to help people. Sometimes I won't. I'm not going to feel guilty because I can't. And I'm not going to explain why I can't. Just can't. I have something to do with what I have. And I can't help you. oh well. And it's not that I'm doing that. What it is I'm telling people, if you want more, put in more. Simple. If you want what you get, keep putting in what you get. And you'll get it. I match energy, or I'm not giving it. I'm going to match good energy, and I'm not giving bad energy. You put in good energy, I'm going to give it back to you. If you give bad energy, I'm not going to pour into you. I'm going to draw back. Because I control my time, I control my space, I control my energy, and I control my money. What God blesses me with. Remember that. You are as you worth to people. So thank you guys for tuning in. It's the First Solutions Radio Show. Love you guys. Remember, you have to be the change. You have to set you some strong boundaries for 2026 and realize you have a right to be happy. You have to be who you are, no matter who you lose. Love you guys. See you next week. Deuces.
Go to your Apple or Google Play Store and download the WVTC Gospel Radio app today. You can also say, Alexa, play WVTC Radio Skills.
Would you like to play WVTC Radio Network?
Absolutely. Download it today.
Views made on the preceding program are not those of WVTC Radio, iNetworks Communications, or their financial supporters.
Winning victory through Christ, WVTC Allsip Chicago, and iNetworks Communication Station.